Teen develops wet lung after vaping for 3 weeks. Doctors are warning about the dangers of e-cigarettes after a Pennsylvania woman developed hypersensitivity pneumonitis, otherwise known as wet lung. CNN reports an 18-year-old Pennsylvania woman had only been vaping for 3 weeks when she developed symptoms so severe that she was sent to the emergency room of the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. In a study published in the journal Pediatrics, Dr. Casey Sommerfeld of Children's Healthcare of Atlanta says chemicals in an e-cigarette may have triggered a patient's body to create an immune response, leading to lung damage and inflammation. E-cigarettes work by heating liquid that turns into vapor, which the user then inhales and exhales like a cigarette. E-cigarette liquids usually contain flavorings, propylene glycol, glycerin, and often nicotine. Sommerfeld said the immune response in the patient led to increased inflammation and leaky blood vessels, which in turn can lead to fluid accumulation in the lungs. The teenager exhibited symptoms of coughing, difficulty breathing that was quickly getting worse, and sudden stabbing pains in her chest every time she inhaled or exhaled. When her condition worsened and she went into respiratory failure, she required a mechanical ventilator to breathe for her and required tubes inserted on both sides of her chest to drain fluid from her lungs. The woman's condition was diagnosed as hypersensitivity pneumonitis, sometimes called wet lung, which is an inflammation of the lungs due to an allergic reaction to chemicals or dust. After being treated with IV methylprednisolone, a drug used to treat severe allergic reactions, CNN reports the woman's condition improved and she was taken off the mechanical support system 5 days after being admitted to the hospital. You don't want to catch this.
Zombie deer disease in humans? A mysterious neurological disease is laying waste to North American deer, and scientists are worried that humans might be next. Since its discovery in 1967, chronic wasting disease has infected deer populations in 24 U.S. states and Canada, and has also been found in South Korea and Norway. Chronic wasting disease is caused by prions, deformed proteins which accumulate in certain organs. Infected deer can live 2 years before symptoms like weight loss, thick saliva, and behavioral changes manifest. The disease is contagious and typically spreads via the saliva and feces of diseased deer, which can contaminate the environment and infect other animals. Prion diseases are typically limited to certain species, but may evolve to overcome the interspecies barrier and infect new hosts. Mad cow disease is one example, with humans contracting the disease from eating cows that have been infected by prions from sheep. While no humans have been infected by CWD, monkeys in a recent study reportedly contracted the disease after ingesting infected deer meat. Public health officials continue to monitor for any sign of brain-wasting diseases in humans. They have also warned hunters not to consume deer meat without getting it tested, regardless of how healthy the animal looks.
Legionnaires disease bacteria found at New York police station. Cops in East Harlem are going to have to forego showers at the station for a while after traces of a deadly bacteria was discovered at the police station. Legionella pneumophila is the bacteria that causes Legionnaire's disease. The disease usually occurs in large buildings, as the water systems allow the bacteria to spread more easily. Inhaling just a small amount of water containing the bacteria can cause the disease to develop in the human body. Symptoms include headache, fever, chest pain, nausea, and diarrhea. People who are over 50 years old, smokers, and those with chronic lung disease are more susceptible to the disease. The New York City Health Department says between 200 to 400 cases of Legionnaire's disease are reported in the city each year. 2 hotel guests who stayed at the Rio All-Suite Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, separately in March and April, also contracted Legionnaire's disease. The bacteria was found in one of the hotel tower's hot water systems. Whatever you do, don't squeeze that tick! Oh joy! Thanks to an exploding mice population across the northeastern United States, this year looks like it's going to be a bumper one for the ticks that the rodents play host to. For those that don't know, ticks carry Lyme disease, which gives us humans rashes, swollen lymph nodes, and all sorts of other nasty symptoms. People living in areas affected by Lyme disease should check their bodies daily for ticks. And if you do find one, don't panic. Using tweezers, carefully remove the tick by pulling its mouth out of the skin. Do not squeeze the tick's body, as this can cause the contents of its stomach to burst onto the skin. Also, don't use petroleum jelly or smoke to remove it. Check with the Centers for Disease Control if Lyme disease is a problem in your area. Save the tick for lab testing, monitor your health, and if you develop symptoms of Lyme disease, consult a doctor. Around 30,000 cases of Lyme disease are reported in the U.S. each year, but health officials believe the true number to be 10 times that. So to avoid becoming another statistic, watch out for the little critters that spread the disease, and know that TomoNews has got your back. Researchers find terrifying link between Alzheimer's disease and the very air you breathe. New research suggests there may be a connection between cognitive decline and heavily polluted air. According to U.S. researchers, elderly women who breathe polluted air, such as from car exhausts, have a higher risk of developing dementia and suffering cognitive decline. The research also suggests that women who carry the gene ApoE4 have a much higher chance of developing Alzheimer's disease if exposed to similar air pollution. These dangerous particles are found in pollution from car exhaust fumes, power plants, and even burning wood. The research was led by the University of Southern California and published in the journal Translational Psychiatry.
CDC warns diarrhea-inducing cryptoparasites on the rise in U.S. pools. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says outbreaks of a parasitic infection linked to swimming pools are increasing, and there have been twice as many outbreaks in 2016 as in 2014. Cryptosporidium, commonly known as crypto, is a microscopic parasite that causes the diarrheal disease cryptosporidiosis. Even in properly chlorinated water, it can survive up to 10 days. Swallowing just a mouthful of water with crypto can make healthy people sick for weeks. It can cause stomach cramps, nausea, diarrhea, and can lead to dehydration. The only way to get rid of the parasite is by treating the water with extremely high levels of chlorine that are dangerous for swimmers. Ohio was one of the states with the most reported cases. A total of 1,940 people fell ill due to the infection in 2016. That poor woman. A British woman has lost nearly all of her limbs, all because of one hospital's medical blunder. On Christmas Day 2014, Magdalena Malik had to get surgery at Luton and Dunstable University Hospital after discovering she'd suffered an ectopic pregnancy. While in recovery, she developed a high fever and rashes on her legs, both classic signs of sepsis that doctors then misdiagnosed as an allergic reaction. Her condition led to kidney damage and septic shock, but while the kidneys were saved with dialysis and a transplant, her gangrenous limbs were too far gone. After waiting an agonizing 6 months, Malik's decaying legs, arms, and fingers were finally amputated. Sadly, her relationship with her partner broke down during the trying ordeal, and she has had to cope with the disability on her own, including relearning basic, everyday tasks. The hospital has since apologized and admitted their mistake, but Malik is hell-bent on taking legal action against them, if only to prevent more negligence in the future.